first thing I'm going to do is see where right now he's kind of sort of in my space. So I'm going to ask him to back up a little bit. Just slight movement. There you go. So what I'm going to do with my left hand is I'm going to ask him to go to my left. But with my stick as my extended hand, I'm going to be focusing right on his left shoulders. Okay? So with just a little bit of pulsation action, I'm going to ask him to move off that pressure. I'm going to put pressure to his left shoulder. So I'm going to step into, with my right leg, into his left shoulder. So I'm going to go here, move him this direction, okay? So as you saw, he went to his left. So I'm going to, there we go, right there. As you go along, back him up again. See how he's kind of in my space a little bit. There we go, good. So as we go along, we're going to make it to where he's way off, at least about 20 feet or 10 feet or 5 feet or 3 feet away from my body. So where he just starts looking at my body. So I'm going to do the same thing. There we go. Back a little bit. There we go. Just so he understands which way I'm asking him to go. That's the first step to lunging your horse. You want to start the direction that you want your horse to go to. I always ask my horse to step back a little bit first, just so he stays out of my space. Okay, so here we go again. From there we go. I step into his left shoulders with my right feet. It's kind of like a horse when he's coming at you. They're going to walk towards you. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing is with my body language. I'm going to walk into his. There we go. See, even to a point where all you're doing is just with your hand now. See, right about there. See, he started that motion, but I dropped it right before he got to his shoulders. So my main focus is right to his left shoulders, right there. He made that movement. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with my right feet. I'm going to step into his left shoulders as I'm asking him to go. So as you notice, now we're going to go to my right, and I'm going to be focusing on his right, and I'm going to be stepping with my left foot into his right shoulders. I'm going to get all my tools ready, my extended hand. So I'm going to ask him to go to my right side. So from here, I'm going to look at that shoulders, make him move that direction. Okay, now I'm going to back up a little bit. There we go, again. First I'll line him up. See how he's kind of standing a little bit off center from where I'm at? So I'm going to ask him to move over. There we go, right about there. So you get to a point where you start moving your horse just by subtle movements without having to whack him or if he doesn't understand. So I'm going to ask him to do the same thing. I'm going to step into his right shoulders with my left leg, asking him to go that direction. So now we got the direction that we want him to go. Okay, so I asked him to stop, whack him in the butt. See now look where he's standing. He's kind of not lined up with my shoulder. So I'm going to ask him to move over. There we go. Good. See now we're lined up. You can get to a point where you're kind of in a straight line with my horse and my shoulders. Okay. So as soon as he understands that, I'm going to, with my long skinny arm, I'm going to touch him right there, let him know he done good. So now we're going to go to his right direction. So I'm going to take my left feet, turn around. I'm not going to move at all. I don't want to move too much. I want to kind of think myself like I'm in concrete. The only move that I'm going to make is with my right feet into his left shoulders. So I'm going to ask him to go to his right. There we go. Good. Now he's going off. Now he's coming into my space. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to move him away with my stick. There we go. Now he's coming back in. So I'm going to let him make that mistake. Now I'm going to move him back away from out of my space. Okay. But I'm going to let him make that mistake again. See how he's coming back towards me. But I'm going to push him away again. There we go. Good. There we go. So I'll go ahead and yield him now. Now, see how we're not lined up again? Until he gets to a point where he starts lining up. So all I'm going to do is, there we go. Good. See, now you just do subtle movements without having to jerk on his nose so much. As you can see, there's a lot of slack in this little rope, your lead rope. Good. Now he dropped his head and he understands. Good. I've got an imaginary pole right here. Okay? That's the withers and all the way down to his feet. Anything behind here is a go button. Anything here is you either slow him down or you stop him or change direction. So once I get this horse moving forward, once I get him moving forward, then my focus, instead of moving the shoulders over, now my focus would be, my eyes would be looking for this portion right here. So I'm going to be moving the hindquarters forward. Okay, as soon as you get into this position here, he's either going to change direction or he's going to stop. Okay, so, or he can slow down. So what I'm going to do is, see, now I'm in his space. See, that's great. He moved out of my space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of, there you go, good. So now, since now he's kind of off from my line again, I'm going to ask him to move over a little bit. Put a little bit, there we go. Great, good, good. So now we're going to get him to lunge to my left. So I'm going to take my right leg, move right into his shoulders like another horse would. Okay? Move that shoulders over. See, I didn't move, so I'm going to see now where he's right into my shoulders. So I'm going to move him out. There we go. Sometimes you got to make contact. There we go. So now I'm staying, as you can see, I'm staying behind that pole that I was talking about earlier. Okay, and look at the circle that I'm making. I'm not making a huge circle. Now he's coming back, moving back out there. There we go. Now he stays outside, out of my space. Okay? But now the main focus, what I'm looking at is the hindquarters, where my eyes should be. Okay, see how he's coming towards me again. Yeah, he's kind of going further away. I'm going to ask him to stop. What I do there is I'm looking at the hindquarters and kind of tilt my head slightly to the hindquarters. And another thing I want to emphasize is always make sure that you have good leg protection. Okay, because when you start changing directions, they can actually hit themselves and start damage their leg and everything. So always make sure that you got good leg protection. Okay.